Property Building Committee, the order at 6:34. Roll call, Mr. Smitherman.
Mr. Barber.
Here.
Mr. Blackstock. Dr. Miller.
Yes.
And we'll note that Mr. Scares, Mr. Warren, and Johnston, and Mr. Davis.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any revisions or additions to the agenda by committee members? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Mr. Blackstock. Mr. Miller, do you second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Miller. All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, item 5, new business, courthouse and jail facility update, Mr. Hicks.
A couple of weeks ago, we met with the architect, and I think several of you were here for that meeting. One of the things we sent the architect back was instructions to look at a smaller jail and the possibility of sending inmates to the regional jail, and keeping just a smaller standard jail here with the sheriff and keep all his people. And at this point, we're waiting for the architect to come back with those numbers. We met with the judge. I think she liked what she saw. Her thought was that the jail would be the most pressing need. So if she starts pushing forward on something, it's probably going to be on jail first. I would think we'll have some of those numbers back in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll call you back together. We do have the sketch plans on what they presented to us that evening. I think somebody may have gotten that information that night, but we do have those copies if you want that. We do. I've got 3 copies of the jail plan, which has to be submitted to the state probably next. I think Mr. Blackstock's got one. I've got 3 copies here. It's about 70-some pages. I don't know if you want to read all that, but I do have some extra copies of that. And I've also got cost estimates. If you put the courthouse in the center of our property, the 911 center's got to go somewhere else. Planning and inspections have to go somewhere else. And
buildings and grounds.
And the tower has to go somewhere else. So there's additional cost estimates, what they think it would cost to build additional facilities or that tower stuff. And the thought is you move the school system into the old courthouse. So you got to remodel all that. They got cost estimates on all that also. So I've got a copy of all of you. They take a copy of that from all of them. So, we're basically waiting for the architects to get the jail costs back and everything and the estimates and decide what size jail they should be. They met with the sheriff, and I think they've had several discussions. So we hope we'll have something back in the next few weeks, and we'll give you a more formal update. That's sort of what we're all right with. But I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Is that a requirement? It has to be built in that particular footprint when you was talking about moving, so I'm assuming
Not the jail, but the courthouse. To move the courthouse, I believe it requires a referendum.
Okay.
It has to be in Chatham somewhere.
So we're looking at, I think there are 3 alternatives for the jail. One is completely leaving the site and building a full-service jail, or leaving the site and build a smaller full-service jail, or staying on the site and building just enough beds and a full-service capacity to be able to serve the sheriff and the court system, but the majority of our prisoners would be in the regional system. So that we had 2 follow-up items to pursue. One is to start the conversation with the regional jail system to see what it would take to buy in as a member. And also, there's a small property acquisition matter that I won't get into too much detail on since we're in open session. But we do have an opportunity to expand our footprint over there and make a more uniform lot that would significantly increase our very poor parking situation.
just as a matter of clarification, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but to relocate the courthouse out of the contiguous area requires a referendum. So, because the county owns the property, the school board property down the hill, anywhere within those limits does not require a referendum. But anywhere else in Chatham or anywhere else in the county, that would require a referendum.
I'll also say, I was in Richmond last week, speaking to our delegation, and really just getting the bird in their ear that this time next year, we're going to be going to the delegation to get our community-based corrections plan. I guess it has to be approved and put into queue for 25% funding. And then once they approve that, we're on the clock. We have 5 years to build to get 25%.
And you can go back and, because in the past they've given 50%. If it was a part of a regional deal, when you brought in a regional deal, because you're talking about participating, maybe it would be 50%. That would take some legislative activity, but other localities have done it.
Okay. All right, any questions from the committee?
And I've got copies here if you want to take those home with you.
Any questions from other board members, Mr. President? Okay, hearing none. All right, item B, staff reports. Mr. Smitherman, Mr. Hicks.
That's something heavy.
Okay. All right, matters from committee members, Mr. Blackstock, Mr. Miller. One, how's that 622 compact recycle coming? Are they going to start doing them upgrades anytime soon?
We're going to look at the spring.
Okay, so we're in.
Asphalt plants are closed.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, we're way behind the ball with what I heard months ago. Okay.
So it'll be March. It might be open.
That's true.
Start now, you may hit it.
It might be open next week.
Yeah.
It's probably mid-March.
All right, moving on to item 7A, closed session. Let's see, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for public purposes or the disposition of publicly held real property where a discussion open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. Let's see.
Need a motion.
Purpose, discussion of potential disposition of property. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we enter into closed session to discuss and consider the acquisition of real property for public purpose or the disposition of publicly held real property where discussions in open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position of negotiating strategy of the public body, legal authority, Virginia Code 2.2-371183, subject to Blairs Middle School Purpose, discussion of potential disposition of property.
We're going to.
All right, we return to open session at about 7:40 or 7:37. I will now certify only the committee members. Be it resolved that the Property Building Committee meeting of the Pittsylvania County Board of Supervisors on February 4, 2019, the committee hereby certifies by recorded vote as the best of each committee member's knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirements of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and identified the motion authorizing closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting. If any member believes that there was a departure from the requirements of the Act, he shall so state prior to the vote indicating the substance of departure. That statement shall be recorded within the board's minutes. I'll now do roll call of just committee members. Mr. Barber.
Yes.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Dr. Miller.
Yes.
Okay. This meeting adjourned.